In the shifting landscape of digital tools, where AI meets the art of storytelling, lies the domain of the AI writer's connection. Welcome, dear scribes, to another step into the unknown. I'm Mira Gold, your guide on this journey. Together, we delve into an intriguing component of Sudowrite's story engine, the character list generation. As we peel back the curtain on this peculiar feature, we invite you to ponder, can the essence of a character, those rather odd idiosyncrasies, the very marrow of their being, be summoned by a machine? Let's explore together, shall we? Today we set sail on the digital seas, guiding the AI story engine of Sudowrite to generate a robust character list. This unique invocation encompasses key aspects of character creation, serving as the compass and map to help our artificial intelligence navigate the depths of storytelling, imbuing our characters with dimension and depth. Names and ages are far from trivial when it comes to AI-generated prose. They serve as signposts that suggest cultural and generational backgrounds, providing the AI with a foundation from which to build character personalities and histories. In the sprawling digital landscape of narratives, the Protagonists and Antagonists are the sun and moon, shaping the day and night of our stories. By identifying these roles, we allow our AI to understand the central conflict, driving the narrative and sculpting dynamic character arcs that engage readers. Physical descriptions offer the AI a blueprint for each character, a visual framework that it can reference and build upon. These elements not only help create vivid imagery, but also guide the AI in inferring personality traits, personal history, and even emotional states. By defining strengths, weaknesses, and motivations, we lend our AI the wisdom to create complex characters. This information forms the spine of the narrative, guiding how the AI portrays characters' actions, reactions, and decisions throughout the story. Incorporating character flaws introduces a sense of realism and relatability in AI-generated prose. Flaws enable the AI to introduce conflict, orchestrate character growth, and create more compelling narratives. Assigning Myers-Briggs personality types equips our AI with a profound understanding of each character's behavior, preferences, and thinking patterns. This acts as a roadmap, guiding the AI in maintaining consistency in character behaviors and dialogues. Descriptor words used to describe a character offer the AI a concise snapshot of each character's personality and tone of voice. These descriptors guide the AI in creating unique voices for each character, shaping their dialogues and actions throughout the narrative. Minor characters enrich AI-generated narratives, providing supporting roles that enhance main character arcs. When we use archetypes, we give the AI a quick way to establish these characters' roles, which can be used to meet or subvert reader expectations. Settings provide our AI with a rich contextual palette. They guide the AI in shaping characters' lifestyles, decisions, and worldviews. A well-developed setting also enhances mood, reveals character traits, and supports the AI in steering the plot. These elements serve as the guiding stars in the uncharted waters of AI-assisted writing. They allow us to direct our AI in breathing life into our characters, transforming whispers of thoughts into engaging, dimensional narratives. Let's venture further into the digital twilight with Sudowrite's story engine, harnessing the power of AI to master the craft of storytelling. I'm going to go ahead and select my project, which is number 2, AIWC, which stands for AI Writers Connection. I'm looking for my Story Engine Hacks class, so I'm going to go ahead and click my project. As you can see, I have a page with my prompts, as well as prompt 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. That covers everything from my prompt 1, which covers my brain dump and synopsis. I have prompt 2, which we're going to cover today, which is over the character list. Prompt 3 will go over the outline in another class. Prompt 4 will cover story beats. Prompt 5 will cover prose, and prompt 6 will cover editing. So let's go ahead and click on prompt 2. So today, as I stated, we're going to be covering prompt number 2, which is the character list. The prompt for this reads, write a major character list for this concept. Provide the characters' first and last names, ages, and identify the main protagonist and antagonist. Give the main characters physical, facial/body descriptions, attributes, strengths, and weaknesses, and list what motivates the characters and what the characters want, and list their flaws and imperfections that make them unique. Also assign a Myers-Briggs personality type and list 5 descriptor words that reflect the character's personality and tone of voice. Then write a list of 10 minor characters using popular archetypes and provide an extended setting/location list. Now that might seem like a really long prompt, but I find that the more I can feed the AI, the better my content actually generates. So I'm going to copy this prompt. And let's go ahead and go to Story Engine. Now you will recognize this page in the brain dump. Currently, I have the prompt that we used in the prior class whenever I ran the synopsis. I'm going to go ahead and take that out of here. And I'm going to scroll over, and you can see under the synopsis, I have the title, The Harvest Moon Murders, the series name that was generated last time, the Blood Moon Trilogy. It spit out book 1's premise, book 2's premise, and book 3's premise. Now, since I last dropped that video, I have made some changes to the synopsis. It wasn't bad what was generated, but I felt that it needed a bit more beefing up. So I'm going to show you a side-by-side comparison. So I'm going to go ahead and drag the screen over. So just bear with me a minute here. And now I have them side by side. So one of the things that I wanted to show you is that under the synopsis here, let me grab my other screen. As you can see, I have my synopsises side by side. What is on the left is what was originally generated. What is on the right is what I have made changes to. Now, I kept everything that I had generated prior. If I want to go in and look at my different versions, I can click the history up at the top of my screen, and it allows me to go back and take a look at the different generations that I did, or the different history. It'll show me the history of all the changes that took place. Since I generated this originally on July 2nd, you'll see that in the brain dump, I can go all the way back to July 2nd at 3:05 p.m., all the way to today, July 6th. I'm going to go ahead and close that window, go back to the synopsis. So taking a look at what is on the right, you will notice that I have removed some of the content that was there originally, like the title, the series name. I've removed book 1, book 2, and book 3 because all I need for my character generation at this point is just the bare bones of the synopsis. Now you will notice that I have made changes here. I'm going to scroll down to the Lester Dent beats. So I want to point out that even though the information that I originally created is much smaller or slimmer, that was the basis or the starting point of my story. I then, over the last couple of days, I have gone in and made changes. You notice that this is still the introduction, to introduce the characters and the setting. Well, you'll find the same thing right here. I have my characters and setting introduction. It states that the story begins with the friends setting up their tents and getting ready for their annual camping trip in the woods near, let's go ahead and change, Willow Creek. I have decided that I am going to use the name Harvest Bay for the city's name. Their easy banter and friendship help establish their characters and their relationships with each other, while their eerie, quiet woods create a sense of foreboding. Now, if I wanted to, I could say there, and I could state that that refers to my ensemble cast. So looking at my cast, I know that consists of my 5 characters, the 3 males and the 2 females. So you can see that I went from having 2 sentences to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So my original line for that was Jack, Tyler, Nate, Emily, and Rachel arrive at their campsite in the woods near Willow Creek. Here I'm stating the story begins with the friends. Now, if I want to be even more specific and ensure that the AI does not become confused, where I say that the story begins with the friends, I can name them. I can name Jack, Tyler, Nate, Emily, and Rachel. So again, this is where they were setting up their tent, getting ready for their annual camping trip in the woods near Harvest Bay. Now, the reason why I have decided to make that change there is that it's more specific. It is putting my characters in a specific location. It's telling the AI that my story begins with them setting up their tents, getting ready for their camping trip. And it also lets the AI know that it's something that they've done before. They have easy banter going on, and that it's starting to set the mood or tone that the woods have an eerie or quiet feel to them, and that there's a sense of foreboding. So we definitely want to have key words there that will trigger the AI to set that mood or tone. Now, under number 2, establishing the stakes, the original was the group stumbles upon a cult ritual and is targeted for sacrifice. Well, that's not bad, but I needed a little bit more information in there. And yes, I understand that that's, it did establish the stakes, but I went ahead and beefed that up a bit to read, during a midnight exploration, the group stumbles upon a hidden clearing where a cult ritual is underway. They find out about an ancient prophecy that requires their sacrifice, raising the stakes and putting them in immediate danger. So what the AI generated originally wasn't bad, but it was somewhat vague, and I needed something that was going to be more direct and give the AI more context to draw from. So let's take a look at the setup for the red herrings. Originally, Suspicion falls on several characters, including an old man who warns them to stay away from the woods and a local sheriff who seems uninterested in helping them. Okay, so let's take a look at the red herrings here. A creepy old man living on the outskirts of the town who always talks in riddles. So I'm kind of curious to see how the AI will handle riddles. I'm not sure if that's going to be too much or not. We can always make an adjustment there. And I can even say that it's creepy riddles, and a sheriff who dismisses their worries. There is going to be my ensemble cast. So my ensemble cast, or the cast of friends, worries and seems too casual about the cult rumors, are both produced as potential suspects. So the sheriff and the creepy old man, that they're not too worried about the cult, about the things that they're hearing. So that kind of sets the precedence that the town kind of knows what's going on, but our friends, our little ensemble cast does not. So let's take a look at number 4, add a plot twist. So I beefed that up as well. Originally it read, the supernatural force controlling the cultists is revealed to be an ancient entity that has been worshipped by the town for generations. Well, that's kind of cool. But I went ahead and beefed it up a little bit, and I said, plot twist, during their struggle. And this is where I really want to stress that when it comes to pronouns, you need to be clear who we are talking about, because the AI has no idea who they're, who that refers to. That could be a whole, host of new characters. So make sure you're stating who that is. Now, I could state that it's the ensemble cast. I can state that it is the friends, or I can state that it is Jack, Tyler, Nate, Emily, and Rachel. Now, the reason why I do that consistently is because I don't want the AI to have any confusion whatsoever. So I think taking a little bit of extra time to do the edits and ensure that you're making things really clear for the AI is really imperative. Now, if I really wanted to be 100% sure, then I would continue every time it refers to my individuals. I could say my ensemble cast, or I could just give their names again. Again, I can come here. They find out about an ancient prophecy. And again, I'm going to put them in here again so that the AI does not get confused. The cast of friends, I can say the cast of friends, or I can just simply use their names. So with that plot twist that we were talking about, so during the ensemble cast's struggle for survival, the group discovers that the town's history is steeped in the worship of an ancient entity. This entity still, is revered by the cult, is not only real, but seems to be controlling the actions of the cult and causing a series of terrifying supernatural events. Now, do I want to trust the AI to come up with what those terrifying supernatural events are? I mean, I could lead it, I could leave that up to the AI, or I can be specific, maybe mini earthquakes, or maybe there's unusual spirit activity. So make sure that you're being specific about what kind of events are happening. So let's take a look at number 5. Number 5, originally for increase the conflict, the survivors are forced to fight not only the cultists, but also the supernatural force itself. Now, I haven't named the supernatural entity, so, I could go back up to the plot twist area, and I could, in parentheses, say, give the entity a cool name of a demon. And we'll see what the AI comes up with. Now, going back to number 5, increase the conflict. So as the series progresses, and keep in mind, this was generated to be a 3-book series. As the series progresses, the friends, and remember, I want to be clear who the friends are. Jack, Tyler, Nate, Emily, and Rachel are not just evading and fighting the human threat of the cultists, they are also dealing with the psychological and physical torments inflicted by that, supernatural entity. So now I could leave that and let the AI decide what those physical torments look like. So I can leave it as it is and run the risk of maybe the AI going off and using something that maybe I don't want. So if I want something really specific, I'm going to state what that, psychological or physical torment is that's being inflicted. If I really don't care at this point, then I will go ahead and leave it as is. Now, even if I leave it this way right now, I always have the opportunity, once the outline is generated, to make that change. So let's go ahead and take a look at the cliffhanger. So originally, that cliffhanger was one of the survivors is revealed to have been working with the cultists all along. So this is a secret. So this cliffhanger, we don't want this revealed too soon. So I'm going to say it's a secret. As the friends unravel the mysteries around them, it is revealed that one among them, I'm specifying who because otherwise the AI will pick whoever they want, Rachel, has been associated with the cult. And I can say Rachel, and I can say and her mother has been associated with the cult. The shocking revelation acts as a cliffhanger, shaking the group's dynamics and trust. So let's go to the next one, number 7. Resolve the conflict. Under the conflict resolution, the climax of the series sees the friends overcoming their fears. So let's put their names in here, their fears and insecurities to defeat the cult and the ancient entity. However, this victory comes at a high price, including loss of life and innocence. So right here, I already know who's going to die. Now, do I want to leave that up to the AI to guess and maybe kill off one of my characters that I do not want to die? No, I need to make sure that I'm spelling that out. So Nate dies. So let's go ahead and take a look at number 8, tie up loose ends. The true nature of Rachel's betrayal is revealed, and the survivors must come to terms with their losses. So tying up loose ends, I went ahead and added a little bit more in there. In the aftermath, Rachel's reasons for her betrayal are fully revealed. The remaining friends, mourning their losses, and they grapple with that betrayal, must find a way to move on and reconcile the grim realities of their experience. Now, thinking about what Rachel's reasons are for her betrayal and how they are fully revealed, that's one of the things that you can leave it up to the AI to come up with something, but you may get something that's really vague or something that doesn't fall in line with what you're looking for. So you really should take a look at what content you want the AI to understand and what you don't want them to understand. So this part right here, I'm going to scroll down a bit. And let me show you what I did. I have additional notes here, and it's going to cover Rachel. So let me find Rachel's information here. So what I had happen with Rachel is that her mother was a single parent and was raising her and her little brother. Well, Rachel's involvement in the cult stems from a complicated family history that is tied to the cult's origins. Her ancestors were among the cult's founders, and she's been burdened with this dark legacy, a secret kept even from her closest friends. So let's add an additional layer to that. So what if we decided that Rachel had a little brother? So let's say that Rachel's little brother got really, really sick, and maybe he died. And because her little brother died, maybe this trip that she's going on wasn't really a leisure trip for her after all. Maybe she's luring her friends in there to, come in contact with the cult so that this ritual can be done. But that's not something that I want the AI to spill out to the readers at this point. So her shocking revelation, what people find out about her, is that she's there because she wants to find out how her brother is doing. Well, I can put that in here right now, but I have to be very careful whenever I generate for my outline later to make sure that it doesn't reveal that fact too soon. So let's take a look at that. So on that loose end, her reason for her betrayal is fully revealed. So let's put down through the cult. She sought to speak to the entity to see how so she sought to speak to the entity to find out how her brother is in the underworld. So that gives her a purpose. She wants to know that he's okay. Now I put that in parentheses, and I am going to state that this is a secret. Now, I did go ahead and state that the ending of the story, The Curse of Harvest Bay, ends in a climatic showdown. After a night of terror, the friends have lost Nate to the entity. They've managed to escape the haunted woods, and they reach safety of a rundown motel in the town. Now, I'm adding these extra little twists because I want to make sure that the AI has enough to draw from. Just as they think they've escaped, and let's just say that we need to make sure that we're keeping track of their names, think they've escaped, they uncover Rachel's betrayal. So this is letting the AI know that this is a little bit more about the ending. She was the mole who led them to the cult ritual, compelled by her desire to reconnect with her, we'll make that her dead brother. Rachel discloses that she had hoped the ritual would bring her brother back. Originally, I thought to do her mother, but I feel like the stakes are higher with the little brother. The ritual would bring her little brother back. We'll call him Andy. Not understanding, but not understanding the true nature of the entity she was dealing with. So it's kind of like when you make a wish and say you have 3 wishes, and every time you make a wish, something horrific happens. Same thing with this entity. So the realization of Rachel's treachery fractures the group of friends. And again, I'm going to state who the friends are. And the surviving friends grapple with the loss of Nate, which serves as a grim reminder of the cult's lethal intentions. Now, this specific book will conclude on this haunting note, setting the stage for the next book. Now, I am leaving in there my little ensemble cast that we generated in the first session that had Jack, Tyler, Nate, Emily, and Rachel listed. I also have our setting in here. Now you'll notice that in my first draft, which is on the left, you'll notice that there were 715 words in there. We're also at 715 words on the right side, but my content is different. It is fully fleshed out. I'm going to hit enter and make a little bit of room here. And I am now going to close this one out. Because I do not need this one anymore. And let's go ahead and enlarge this. I am going to actually go back and show you. I still have the information that I generated. I have it over in my brain dump. And why am I storing this in my brain dump along with some specific notes that I have? See, I have all of my themes, my tropes in there that we generated last time. I'm using the brain dump as my storage right now. So one of the things that I want to keep encouraging you to do is take a look at the top of the screen where you have the little question mark next to like brain dump and synopsis. If you take your cursor and hold it over the question mark, you'll see that the brain dump impacts the synopsis and the beats. Well, I've already generated a synopsis and I have corrected my synopsis and beefed it up to the point where I want it. The next time that my brain dump comes into play is going to be when I generate beats. Right now, all the information that I have in the brain dump, it's 1,830 words. I want every single word in there for when I create those beats. So I'm not going to touch the brain dump unless I need to add additional information or make a change or an update. So under synopsis, as I said, I have 715 words. I am going to close out of this real quick, go back to my page here. I'm going to my prompt number 2 and I'm going to grab it. Now let's see how long that is. So now I'm going to go ahead and go back to my story engine. I'm curious how long this is because as you can see, I can only have 85 words here. So I may have to condense. So as you can see, if you exceed the 800 words, you'll get that little note. Let me show you again. The maximum length for this field is 800 words. Your text has been trunked. So it has taken my information and it's not going to allow me to put anything else in there. If I truly want to have my prompt in there, then I need to make sure that I am making room in here. Now, one of the little hacks that I found that works really well for this is I like to put hyphens in between things, and the AI can actually understand what those hyphens mean. So it's going to know that that's all of my characters' names, but it's going to count that as a single word. So that's one of my little hacks, and I like to use that hack everywhere. I will use that hack inside of the genre, inside of the style, inside of the synopsis. I will use it in my character list. I will also use that in my outline if I need additional spacing. Now, remember earlier, I actually pasted a whole bunch of these sections with the characters' names. I'm just going to go back over, replace all of those. There is not a replace, so you would have to do a control find if you wanted to replace a specific word. In this case, it's fairly easy for me to find all of their names, and I'm going to replace them. Now that means that in a little bit, I'm going to have to go back and grab my content again. So let me finish doing this, and we'll see if it's enough. So just bear with me a minute here. So let's go ahead and go back and get the prompt one more time. We're in prompt number 2. I'm going to highlight that. I'm going to copy it. I am going back to Story Engine. And there we go. So again, I already have a character list, but it's kind of bare boned. So I want to flesh out my characters a little bit more. So that's one of the reasons why I've asked for it to continue to keep my characters, you know, first and last name, ages, give them some ages, and I want to state that they are college. So I want them to have ages, I would say between 18 and 24. Or let's make it 18 to 22. We'll keep them new adults. So I have everything in here that I need. Now, if I hover over synopsis, I know that the only thing that comes into play when I generate a synopsis is my brain dump. But I'm not generating my synopsis today, but I will be generating my characters. So under characters, the only thing that this card is going to take a look at is going to be the synopsis. So the character section tells Story Engine how to write your characters. This strongly impacts how their dialogue is written, what choices they make within your story, how they interact with the other characters. So an update to this section as your characters evolve in the story is pivotal. So if your characters have a huge change from like one scene to the next or one chapter to the next, you need to make sure that you're updating your character list so that you know what character is in that scene, if that character has grown. For instance, in the chapter that Nate dies, I need to make sure that from then on, any future chapter, that Nate doesn't pop up as a character who is living, because the AI does not keep that history. It can only go off of whatever cards it can pull from. So as I said, the characters pull from the synopsis. My outline pulls from the genre, synopsis, and the characters. So in my outline, if it states that Nate dies in a specific chapter, but I don't have that listed in my character list, and I am working on beats or prose for, say, chapter 5 or 10, the AI does not know what happened in the chapters prior. that were generated, nor does it know what happens in future chapters, because it is generating my prose kind of in a silo. So it can only generate information that it pulls from. So let's take a look at our beats. Our beats are going to pull from more content. So our beats are going to pull from the brain dump, the genre, style, synopsis, characters list, and your outline. But take a look at what the prose pulls from. Your prose will only pull from genre, style, the characters list, and the character beats. So you have to make sure that any pertinent information when you are generating prose has been embedded in either the character list or inside of your chapter beats. Personally, I like to have some basic information in my character list, because that kind of helps keep my characters, consistent throughout my story. But I like to embed very specific details inside of my beats. And I find that that tends to keep the story on track better than anything else that I have done thus far. So let's go ahead and go back. We are going to go ahead and generate. So let's generate our character list and see what it gives us. Now, you notice that I did not have anything in my genre or style yet, because at this point, I do not need that. Now, because I asked for the AI to give me the Myers-Briggs personality type, it has given Jack, my protagonist, or one of the protagonists, has given him the ESTP personality. Descriptor words that will fit that character is going to be bold, resourceful, pragmatic, impulsive, and adaptable. So all of those descriptor words are going to drive the way that Jack behaves. Tyler is 22 with a sharp wit. He has a sarcastic tone, so anything coming out of his mouth, be ready. He's going to have a sharp wit, and he's going to have a lot of sarcasm. Now, I could also say that he has dark sarcasm. I could say that he has sarcasm and that he has, a dark sense of humor. So he is he's actually the group's jester. So he has messy light brown hair. He has a lanky frame. He is an ENTP. So he's an extrovert, just like Jack. His descriptors are clever, charming, quick-witted. He's argumentative, but he's sensitive. So if you take a look, each one of my characters have something specific. So Nate is 21. He's muscular. He's the group's strength. So he kind of wants to be the protector. He has short cropped blonde hair, strong jawline. He's reliable, robust, but he can be impulsive and hot-headed at times. His personality trait from Myers-Briggs is an ESTJ. He is assertive, dependable, decisive, stubborn, and he is protective. Emily is 19, so she seems to be the baby of the group. She has glasses. She has wavy red hair. If we don't want her to have red hair, we could change it right here. She is the group's intellect. She is smart, methodical. She struggles with social interaction. So that kind of gives her character a layer there. And so as she's evolving and growing in the book, we'll begin to see like little, onion layers peeling back to reveal more about our characters. And that's what Myers-Briggs does for my characters. Now, she's an INTP, so she is an introvert. Her descriptive words or descriptors are analytical, creative, introverted, curious, and she's socially awkward, which kind of goes with her struggling with that social interaction, not knowing how to engage others. Now, Rachel, who has been identified as the antagonist, she is 20. She has long dark hair. She's slim. She is deceptive and sharp. She appears very gentle and, profoundly wounded and conflicted due to her personal struggles. Well, we already know that her personal struggles ties to the death of her brother and how she really misses him and wants to know that he's okay. Her Myers-Briggs is an INFJ. Her descriptive words are compassionate, mysterious, intuitive, secretive. So she has a secret, remember, she keeps all those secrets, and she's determined. She is determined to find out about her little brother. Now, we also have the minor characters. Remember, I asked for a list of minor characters because we need some people to be, part of the cult. We need maybe the creepy man in there. We need the sheriff. So here we go. We have the sheriff. He seems too casual about the rumors about the cult. We have the creepy old man. His name is Old Man Jenkins. So he's living on the outskirts of the town, and he always speaks in riddles. So if we don't like how that sounds, we can always change that later. Andy Green is Rachel's younger brother, whose memory profoundly impacts her psyche. So I'm going to state, remember, he is dead and is only a memory in Rachel's mind. And I do that because I don't want the AI to start, bringing Andy up and all of a sudden Andy is talking and running and playing, because, if he's deceased, I can't have him do that. Now, I could actually bring him back as a ghost later, and that is something that we can weave into the content. Now, Alice, she's a local resident who provides the group with some valuable information about the town history. Now, keep in mind, I asked for it to have some of those archetypes. So, we have Alice, who is more of the historian. She's giving, them some valuable information. She's trying to help them. We have the mayor, Evelyn Carter, who appears to have hidden, she has a hidden agenda. So we can kind of infer what that hidden agenda is. It's probably something to do with the cult, but we don't know. Now, I'd like to see what the AI generates, but if you don't want to trust the AI to generate what that hidden agenda is, then you would make that change here to state what that hidden agenda is. So we have Bennett here, who's a sweet old lady with an unexpected connection to the cult. Again, do we know what that connection is? If you know what you want to put in this section, if you want to put down what that specific connection is, you would do that here, or you can look and see what the AI generates. If you don't like what the AI generates, then you're going to have to input or make changes. Deputy Tom Mitchell, he's helpful, but ultimately he's pretty ineffective to assist. So then we have Robert Davis, a town resident who may know more than he lets on. Now, Lucy Johnson is a young woman who befriends Emily, offering her support during her struggles. So that's interesting. Now, we could keep Lucy as a really nice person and maybe somebody who helps them, or Lucy could also have a hidden agenda. That is something that we can decide, whether you decide that here at this point or you decide that in the outline. Either way, she's going to come back up again. We also have Peter. He is charismatic. He's a cult member who possesses a significant threat to the group. So again, we have our main antagonist, who is Rachel. But in addition to her, we have other antagonistic forces that our characters have to be conscientious of. So am I happy with this character list? Yes. I'm probably going to go in before our next session where we generate the outline, and I'm probably going to beef these up a little bit because, as you see, we only hit 398 words out of 700. So again, I have plenty of room to add additional content here. And one of the things that I want to stress is make sure that you're making changes. When Nate passes, I need to either remove him from the list or make it very clear to the AI in the character list, in the outline, and in the beats that Nate is no longer an active participant in future chapters once he dies. So again, I have to make sure I'm updating stuff. So any change to a character, say somebody gets hurt, I need to make sure that I update that. If my character have grown and maybe my shy little character, maybe, who was it, Emily, maybe she kind of comes out of her shell. We have Emily who's 19, she's going to be resourceful, she's intelligent. Maybe she comes out of her shell about midway and she's the one that kind of helps the group. Maybe they're inside of a cave, I don't know yet, but if she's inside of a cave somewhere and can read symbols, or maybe she's in the mine and she can read ancient text from some, ancient book of, prophecy, then I can utilize my characters that way. So again, start thinking about how your characters are going to play in the world that you have built, because the world that you've built is not a backdrop. You're not just going to drop your characters in there and have them be talking heads. They have to interact with the world just like you and I do. I mean, think about it. The first thing that you do when you come home from a long day of work, you come in, you unlock the door, you walk into your house. What do you hear? What do you smell? What do you see? Is it cold? Is it warm? Think about all those senses, those sensations that your senses pick up. Think about those and how they make a well-rounded scene become vivid in your eyes. We need to do that for our characters. We need to bring them to life on the page. And the best way to do that is to ensure that you are setting up an outline that has enough information about your characters and your story so that when it comes time to flesh out your beats, you have all the information that you need. So I'm going to conclude today, but if you have any questions, be sure to find me in the Discord group. You will find the link inside of the description area. As we conclude this chapter of our journey into the heart of AI and storytelling, I leave you with the echo of all that we've discovered. We've unlocked secrets of character creation, peered into the souls of our protagonists and antagonists, given voice to the voiceless, and birthed beings into the twilight of our digital canvas. Remember, this is but one segment in our ongoing expedition. Our next encounter, yet to be unveiled, awaits in the depths of Sudowrite's story engine. Will you dare to join us? Ensure you don't miss the unveiling by subscribing and ringing the bell of notifications. For those eager to delve deeper into the fabric of AI writing, our Discord community pulses with discussion, insight, and companionship. Find the gateway in the description below. Until our paths cross again in the labyrinth of the AI Writers Connection, keep creating, keep exploring, and dare to push the limits of what you know about writing. I'm Mira Gold, and your guide in the digital twilight, signing off.